Hey, super legends, superstars, and superheroes. My name's Dr. Dre, but yes, without the doctor. You're tuned in to Hot Hire, which is the number one place. That's right, I said number one place. If you're looking to get into your ideal job in double quick time, it's happening now. Right, so today, I've got a special guest. So with this gentleman, we've been connected on LinkedIn for a couple of weeks and came across his profile and I was like, this guy looks like a cool, interesting guy, got a great vibe, and he doesn't look like your normal, no offense to any other career coaches, but I could see like the resemblance between, not looks wise, but resemblance between us. We're both like young, pretty cool, and we do things I believe, in a different way. So I want to say a massive, huge welcome to Russell Ayles. How are you, buddy?
Wow. I'm good, mate. What an introduction. I mean, I feel like I should be walking on stage now. There's some music like this, you know.
Right, I really appreciate you coming on. Just like sharing like your knowledge and your background and your experience and everything. So,
and I just really, and like you just said beforehand, we're both from London as well.
Yeah. And how long have you been?
Small world.
Yeah, how long have you been over in Sydney?
Yeah, so what's it been? Just over a year. So it's July 2019. So just in time for the bushfires and then COVID and everything. So, but look, we can't complain. It's pretty good over here, isn't it, compared to the UK? I mean, I've got loads of friends and family over there who are obviously struggling with lockdown and sort of in and out of lockdown. So, yeah, it could be worse. But no, loving life here. My wife is from Sydney, so moved over here with her. We both work in HR, talent, that sort of arena within retail. Yeah. So conversations always riveting after work. Actually, we try not to talk. We try not to talk about stuff like that. But no, I'm loving it. Loving life in Sydney. Australia's a beautiful country, beautiful place. I love the people here. I just think the people is much more friendly than in London. You can actually say hello to somebody when you walk past and not get a dirty look. So no, loving it, mate.
Hey, super legends, so sorry to interrupt the show. If you do like what you're seeing, please don't forget to like, comment and share. Thank you.
About your background.
Yeah, so my background is all it's all recruitment, talent and HR. So it's about 16 years, it's coming up to 17 years actually in December. So yeah, I started off in agency recruitment. For about 5, 6, 7 years or so, always within the sort of retail fashion arena. So started off recruiting buyers and merchandisers for big retailers like Arcadia Group, Debenhams, obviously retailers that are having a tough time at the moment. People like Tesco. So kind of fashion retailers, big box retailers, and went into in-house talent acquisition. So started off working in Mothercare, which is a really big, really big name in the UK. I think people know over here as well. No, they went under, didn't they, like a year or two ago? I think the brand is still international in some places. But yeah, that's why I cut my teeth in house and then ended up working for House of Fraser, which is like David Jones for people who don't know that. So House of Fraser for a few years, went into a bit of contracting, working for ASOS, worked for a digital company called Immediate Media, who look after a lot of the BBC brands. And then I came over here. Got a job as the HR manager for General Pants, which I hadn't really heard of before I came over here. But obviously, General Pants is a massive kind of historically well-known sort of fashion brand here. It's almost like a rite of passage. You get to a certain age, you go and get yourself some clothes from General Pants. Unfortunately, was a victim of COVID, like a lot of people, when it very first started back in March. And so, it's kind of brought me to where I am now. And this is something I've always wanted to do, and sometimes you just need that push. You need something to happen to you sometimes for you to kind of take that leap of faith into something. So I've always thought, working agency recruitment in-house, HR as well, I've just always felt that candidates get a bit of a raw deal when they're looking for a job. It's a real minefield. How do you know best how to represent yourself, whether that's your CV or resume, as you call it over here, whether that's your LinkedIn profile, how to apply for a job, how to how to actually interact with recruiters, how to interact with employers, hiring managers, how to tackle the interview, how to make sure you get your feedback, how to have those salary conversations. So these are all things I've been part of from various sides of the desk, hence a bit, the name of my business, both sides of the desk, because I've been on every single side of the desk, even as a candidate as well, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, it just got me thinking, you know, there is a place for recruitment agencies, do not get me wrong, but people have got to understand recruitment agencies work for the employer that's paying them, you know, $20,000, $30,000 to find somebody. So they've not necessarily got that duty of care to every single candidate that comes their way. And they can't, because they're going to have so many people coming their way. They can't give everyone that attention. You know, quite bluntly, it's not what they're paid to do. They're paid to find that one brilliant candidate for that one job. So I've always thought, how, you know, there needs to be people that can help people in their job search, make it simple for them. Kind of, it's not about inside secrets and tricks. It's just about, look, this is what recruiters are looking for on the resume. This is, you know, this is what they're looking for on a LinkedIn profile when they're using their LinkedIn recruiter license. You know, companies pay, well, I don't know what it is now. It depends on the size of the company, but it could be $15,000, $20,000 for one person to have a LinkedIn recruiter license per year. So they're using it all the time. How do you get picked up in those searches for the jobs that you want? How do you start to network with recruiters, with employers, with in-house talent acquisition teams? Then when you eventually get an interview, you know, what kind of questions are going to come up? Let's think about it. Let's look at the job description. How are you going to answer these questions? Let's look at the cold technique, the STAR technique. You know, how, even if there's a question that comes up that's, you know, a bit left field, how can we use that same approach and methodology to make sure you don't panic, take a deep breath, and then really consider your answer? So yeah, I've wanted to do it for ages. I really want to help job seekers, and especially now with everything going on, you know, I love the thought of helping people that are really, you know, looking to just, you know, sometimes just get a job, but then also try and find a career with a bit of purpose as well. And that's what keeps people kind of going, I think, getting a career with purpose, which I found with this.
Yeah, can I say your LinkedIn profile is, yeah, it's really good. So if anyone's like watching or listening, check out like Russell's like LinkedIn profile, like the way that he's got it. It's just, yeah, awesome. So do you have any sort of like tips that you can share like with the audience, like things that you know might have been seeing, or like top tips?
Yeah, well, do you know what? There's so many tips. So I'll try and keep it to the kind of most simple things. And that's often what I like to do on LinkedIn, is just keep it simple. You know, you can get into so much detail about how do you really structure an achievement, how do you find those achievements and pull them out of your experience. But look, you've got a resume, right? And let's just say you're either going through a recruitment agency or just applying to a company, your traditional method. So these recruiters or in-house talent teams or HR managers or whoever are very, very time poor. They're looking at hundreds, if not thousands, of resumes a day. So your resume, for me, it has to do two things. The first thing is that it needs to be really clear straight away. You know, it's true that when the recruiter first looks at your CV, it's going to be 6 to 8 seconds. That's absolutely true. I know, because I've been there and I've done it. You're going for a short list of 100 people. You know, really what you're looking for is, you know, what's their last job title or last couple of job titles and companies, to see if it's comparable. You can't really change that. But then there might be certain things. So I work a lot with, like I said, people in fashion, retail, sort of digital. So there might be things that they need to see very quickly. So that's maybe product areas for a buyer or merchandiser. It could be systems that you've used. You know, looking at that job description, you can normally tell. You need to make this information that they're going to be looking for really easily scannable. So having it stand out. What are the systems that you've used? What are the product areas that you bought for? You know, what are the brands you've worked with if you're an account manager or something like that? So you've got to pass that sort of scan test. So are you showing that recruiter really quickly that information that they're probably going to want to see? Then yeah, tick. And then secondly, that would probably get you into their kind of long short list. Because again, the way I worked, the way a lot of recruiters work that I've known, you might have 200 applications, you do a quick go through, you're going to put that to 20, and then you're going to look at those 20 resumes in detail. So when they're, you know, looking at it in detail, for me, you've got to have a mixture of, you do have to talk about those responsibilities in the role, because again, the recruiter is going to be looking at it thinking, right, we need somebody who's, I don't know, managed a team of 5, somebody who's managed, you know, this many ranges or SKUs, if they're sort of buyer merchandiser. So you need to have that kind of, that information, but then it's really important you talk about what most people call achievements. I like to call them highlights when I work with my clients. So really talk about those impacts and highlights that you've had in each role. Because these are the things that you've achieved that somebody else in that role might not have done. Somebody else could have been in that role and still managed 5 people, looked after this number of SKUs, because it's not really going to change, because that's part of the role. But what did you do that somebody else wouldn't have done? So what are those impacts that you've made? You know, using figures, numbers where possible, because again, that's really easy to understand. It's easily digestible by that recruiter. So I think that would be my main tip. Does it say what it needs to say really quickly? And then when they are going to spend time on it and go through it, are you giving them that information, and are you showing people the impacts that you've had in that job?
You know, I absolutely love that, like the impacts and the highlights. That's powerful. I love that. Oh, dropping the gold. All right. So what do you have going on at the moment? Like any sort of like projects or programs, and how can people get hold of you?
Yeah, well, look, you're probably the same, Dre. You know, this sort of thing we do is ever evolving. So I'm always looking at new things to do. So I've recently started partnering with 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐍𝐃, who are a big retail and fashion recruitment agency here in Australia. Very, very well known, really good agency. So anytime they need somebody, or somebody wants a resume written, that they come to me. I've also sort of started creating a really kind of focused two sort of Zoom session, a kind of holistic approach to job seeking. So that's not where I write the sort of resume for you or the LinkedIn profile for you. It's kind of like, you know, the old mantra, you know, I can give you a fish, but you're going to eat for one day. If I teach you how to fish, you can eat for a lifetime. So it's like that. So it's 2 45-minute sessions where, you know, I share some templates for resume writing. We look at their resume at the moment and go, right, this is what you should put here, what are the things, you know, we need to stand out. You go away and do it. Talk about a LinkedIn profile. What information do you need where? What keywords do you need to populate your LinkedIn profile with to get picked up by recruiters in those searches? But also, let's make it look good. I also create a free banner for people that do that as well, because I like doing the old creative stuff as well. But then we really focus it on what do they need it focusing on? Do they want a change of industry? So therefore, okay, how do we go about that? What are your transferable skills? How can we highlight these? How are you going to communicate to recruiters? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? So it's kind of, you know, the half of it is sort of standard, then the other half is really, you know, what do we need to focus on with you? And then my ultimate goal, which is on my whiteboard in my office, which is the sort of big goal to remind me every day, is I'm really looking to, because, you know, look, I want to make it affordable for everyone, because you go to a resume writer or you have these sort of sessions with career coaches, it's not cheap. And do you know what, that's fair enough, because you're paying for, you know, real expertise. And, you know, for me, it's a drop in the ocean if you think about, if this person helps you get a job one day sooner, you've made that money almost straight away. So I think, how can I make it affordable for everyone? So what I'm looking to do is create an online sort of video portal, online learning, where people can go in, watch kind of, you know, sort of sessions by myself, talking through best practice on resumes, LinkedIn, job searching, access to all the material they're ever going to need, templates, step-by-step guides to how to write your resume. And this is specific for kind of fashion, retail, digital, those sort of creative areas, also sort of commercial areas. So it's going to be very personal to them, because, you know, a resume is not one size fits all, but I'm trying to kind of narrow it down to help people that I've helped, you know, during my 16 years. I just make, you know, obviously by doing that, a lot of work up front, but then you can just roll it out and make it really affordable for people, so everyone can get access to this great learning that's very specific for them and is going to help them in their job search. So that's my ultimate dream. But, you know, when you start thinking about it, it's like, I've got to film, I've got to find someone who can edit it. Luckily, my brother's actually a TV editor. He's just been working on I'm a Celebrity. Yeah, he's working on I'm a Celebrity over in the UK, because he's normally out here. So he was out here this time last year up in Brisbane, because that's where they film I'm a Celeb. The UK I'm a Celeb. They film it in Brisbane. Yeah, so he was there sort of this time last year, and then came down to see me. But then obviously he's not come over this year. They filmed it in Wales this time. So I was thinking, actually I could maybe like bend my brother's arm a little bit and see if he can help me with that. But no, it's a big project, but you've got to have these goals to keep you going. You know, you'd know, Dre. Yeah.
So I've got I'm going to do like an online program. So over Christmas, I'm going to just sort of lock myself away and do like an online program. So my target market is sales and marketing professionals. So I'm going to do something specific, to them. So like filming and like editing and all that sort of stuff. So
it's all about having a niche, isn't it? You know, you can't be everything to all people. And don't get me wrong, I've helped people from all different professions. I'm confident I can always help people improve their resume. But, you know, for me, I like, you know, those areas that I'm, you know, I like to feel I'm a real expert in. You know, I've worked in these areas for a long time. So, you know, it's a lot kind of, I feel like I add more value in those areas like you do to sort of sales and marketing. So it's good to have those areas. You never know, I might get in for a cameo when I start putting it together.
I'd love that, yeah. All right, so how can people get hold of you? What's the best way?
Hey, look, just come to LinkedIn and DM me. So just you know, Russell Ayles, or my URL on LinkedIn is job search coaching. So yeah, just come and contact me, DM me, or you can email me. It's Russ, RUSS, at bothsidesofthedesk.com. So either of that. And just if you want to ask me any questions, I'm always giving out a bit of free advice here or there, or if you want to engage with any of my services or find out a bit more about them, have a look at my LinkedIn profile, or like I said, email or DM me. Always happy to help.
Awesome. All right. So Russ, it's about that time. We're going to wrap up. Do you have a dad joke for us to finish on?
Do I have a dad joke? I'll tell you what. I was, and this is actually true. So I'm quite into space and sort of science and stuff. I actually got a telescope for my birthday, which was back in August. Which, do you know what? I haven't actually used yet, and I feel really bad. But I was so I've been reading some books around it, and I was reading a book on anti-gravity, and I just couldn't put it down. So bad, isn't it? So bad.
When you said, "Oh, okay, yes, you've got true story." So
that is true, though. I did get.
Oh, that is true story.
The telescope's over there. Yeah.
Is it in the box or is it out of the box?
No, it's all out. I've put it all together, but it's not as simple as you just kind of go and look at it and look up at the sky. It's all like you can do it by your phone and tell it what you want to look at. It'll go. It's quite complicated. Yeah, I need to do it though. But the thing is, by the time it gets dark at the moment, I don't really feel like doing it because it doesn't get dark till like 8:30, and I'm already like in my PJs watching TV. So.
Yeah. All right, Russ, I just want to say you're an absolute super legend. Thank you so much for all the gold that you've been dropping, sharing your background, your experience, and what you've got going on at the moment. So you're an absolute super legend, and I appreciate your time. So thank you, mate.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, Dre.
Cool, man. Yeah, that was awesome.
Brilliant. Yeah, enjoyed that.